as the audience in general, like who's here at the table, like 187 Premier League goals, fourth on the all-time list.
Ooh.
And that's without ever taking a penalty.
No pens.
No penalties.
None.
Didn't take them.
Not one.
For comparison, Shearer scored 56 penalties, Shearer.
Yeah.
Right? And that's 200 out of his 260. So that gives you context as how many he could have had.
Yeah.
5 Premier League titles.
Ooh. 2
FA Cups, a Champions League. First Premier League season, check this, scored 34 goals in 40 games. Now, if you do that today, that's like Haaland. You're on a different stratosphere.
That's crazy.
20-something years, 26 years or something. To break.
28 years, by the way. And on top of that, people talking about value of players. If Haaland has got all these mad 10-year contracts and he's worth whatever he's worth, how much would Andy Cole be worth today?
With 300 grand a week starters.
Yeah.
Without the goal bonus. Forget what the transfer fee is. That's the without goal bonus is 300 grand a week.
What was that? What about transfer itself? 180, 190? How much is he worth?
Mid-hundreds.
Mid-hundreds.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I'll settle for 6 million, man.
Yeah.
What, net?
Keep moving, man.
Before we get into Coley, I think, listen, we should talk about, obviously, the game this weekend. Man United gone out of the FA Cup.
Hold on. It's hard for me. You can call him Coley. I don't know him like that.
Andrew, to you.
Can I call him Andrew, yeah? We got to make sure we get this right. No, because I was raised well. You can't, you know? Yeah. Cool. But let's go.
No. The result killed me. My brother's on Dancing on Ice, so it brought the night up after that, right?
Yeah.
You won. You got my shout out, Anton.
Come on, Anton.
Got the final of Dancing on Ice.
Yes, Anton.
Make sure you vote next week, guys.
Yeah.
TV. Make sure you vote.
Every week.
Yeah. But before that, I was on the floor, man. United getting beat. What are you like when are you like a United fan still? Or?
Yeah, man. It hurts, bro. It hurts. I think it hurts a lot due to the fact that you want them to do well. I'm saying, win the cup last season, you'd have thought, it's a great opportunity for them as well to got to the cup final, won that, and then you're back in Europe again. You know, so when they lose, man, it kind of like it does spoil the weekend. Can't lie, still.
I think we should get into it as well because you're an attacking player as well. I talk a lot from the perspective of being a defender because I played at the back. And I think it's easier to see problems in a team defensively because it's there for you to see. But this side can't create chances, can't score goals. I think only 5 sides have scored fewer goals than Man United in the Premier League this season.
Look at these teams. Some of these teams have come up.
Southampton, all the teams that are promoted, and like
West
Leicester.
Ham
It's a joke. What do you see as the problems from an attacking mindset as being a problem for this team?
If I look at it as a centre forward, I mean, you always want to get yourself in a position to score goals. Of course you do. But I think if you look at the way we used to play, and I mean, the ball used to go in wide areas very quickly, you know, or you got centre midfield players first looking to go forward. But I think that the manager always used to implement that, though. I mean, always used to say, look, get it into your forwards, or get it in wide areas, and then just get the ball in the box, let the 2 centre forwards do what they're doing. And I think I was very fortunate because if you're playing with players that are good players, and you're playing with players that obviously you could learn off and gain experience of, you know, you start to learn very, very quickly the way Manchester United play. So that was back then. And if you look at the way we play now, everything, of course, you play a totally different way now. But majority of the teams, everyone plays with this very patient play from the back, and it's got to go wide and come back. I mean, it's tough. As a centre forward, I look at it from my point of view. I'm not going to sit and try and talk about anyone else's point of view. If I'm saying myself, if I'm playing now, I'm like, oh, yo, man, this is hard, you know.
Why? Because the ball just is a lot of sideways, a lot of probing rather than being direct and coming to you.
Yeah. I
mean, but you being you, though, I would imagine that you would have gone like Berber's. We spoke to Berbatov on a previous show, and he said I would be going crazy at the players who I know can play. Get it forward. I mean, look, there's plenty of ways to get the ball forward. But if you're a centre forward, you turn around and say to yourself, okay, then how am I going to score goals? If you can get into me quicker, we've got more chance of causing problems. Now, the more we obviously keep the ball, the more time they've got to get their 2 banks of 4, whatever, maybe drop behind the ball. Just like a lot of teams used to do when it was at Old Trafford, you know. But the intensity we used to play with, you know, that's what used to cause them a lot of problems as well.
When you look at some of the strikers, what kind of if you was to give a few tips from what you could see, what do you think they could do better in this scenario where United are not doing that well?
I think I'm at that age now. I'm an even better player now because I don't play no more. It's one of those ones, you know what I mean? But I look at Hojlund there, and I say to myself, you know, if I was to try and give him any kind of advice, you know, just do what you do naturally. I mean, I think sometimes I've watched him so many times, and for me, he gets a little bit obsessed with fighting the centre half. And because the game's not played like that anymore, you don't need to. I mean, when the ball comes into you, just relax. I mean, if you can play on 2 touch, you play on 2 touch. At most 3 touch, you get all of it, set yourself, lay it off and move again. I mean, the intensity of fighting with the centre half, that takes out so much energy, man. I mean, you're tired after that. So imagine you're getting the ball and you're fighting, you're tussling and whatever, then you finally get it under control. Yeah, and then you lay it off. You're saying to yourself, you don't need to. That would be my advice if I'm going to try and give anyone any advice. Is not just be natural, man. Just try to be free.
But the difference is, though, I think you look at his data. I think it's another match without a goal. But I think it follows on from the data that we spoke about last week. And you look at the amount of chances he's getting. I think he's getting similar chances, touches in the box as someone like Mateta or Chris Wood.
That's mad.
But they're in terms of like shooting, they're double the numbers that he's getting. They're shooting twice a game minimum.
Do you know why?
Why?
Look at their confidence. I mean, because however you look at it, when you play football and you pick your power and your confidence is sky high, you do things 1 touch, 2 touch, or whatever.
Naturally,
right? When you start thinking, and I'm talking from my experience here, you get in the box, you think, right, if I take a touch here, if it's not perfect, let me take 1 more touch and then I can do it. By the time you take that 1 more touch,
it's gone.
It's gone. I'm saying, I look at him, he works so hard. I mean, I look at him come off at half time or something like that. The man is drenched in sweat. He works so hard. But sometimes I look at him and say to myself, the areas you're working, you don't have to work in those areas. Run in the box as fast as you can. Yeah, and you might get a lucky one, and you start to breed your confidence from there. You know, there's so many things that he's so willing to do because he tries so hard.
So you're the number 9 in your time, from your experience. What are you telling him now if you're in the building with your experience?
Basics
to get him back into that confidence.
Basics. Go back to basics, man. Like I said, I can talk from experience. I can talk about my time being at Manchester United, and you're going for a goal drought, and then.
Yeah, how did you deal with that?
Me, it was mad. It was mad because I was getting so frustrated because ultimately you're always going to get frustrated because you've gone there to score goals. You're not scoring as many goals as you'd like to. You're going to get frustrated. But I remember the work I was doing after training, you know, bag of balls. You know, I mean, me and Chido, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour after training. I mean, every single day, just doing it. Basics.
Oh, but the problem is, nowadays, the sports analyst guys, the S&C guys, they cut that out.
No,
can't do it.
Too much.
Save your legs,
game
keep
tomorrow.
your legs.
Man, for me, that's just my mindset. You know, I'm like, this is what I have to do. I have to do this to get myself back to where I want to be at. I remember Sir Bobby when he was alive. He used to come in the dressing room, you know, and he used to say to me, Coley, you get yourself in a position to smash it as hard as you can. Seriously. And I'm sitting there, I'm saying, yo, you know, if Sir Bobby can say that to me, that's all I'm going to do from now on. Yeah. Get in there and smash it. And then that's what I used to do, just get in there, smash it as hard as I could, to start going in, and you start saying, oh, I can start caressing a few now because my confidence is coming back.
Taking liberties, a little bit, chances.
I mean, you go for the little dinks and all those kind of things. But you can only do those things, me personally, when your confidence is thriving. And once you've got that confidence, you know, there's things that you don't even think about anymore because those are natural things that got you in that position in the first place.
I do. That makes sense when you look at the way he's playing right now, because the amount of times I've seen him get in the box and all of a sudden he ends up coming out of the box and playing it wide.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, you look, he's had 16 shots this season. 16 shots this season. But according to our stat man behind the scenes, Andy Cole had 78 shots in the season at Newcastle when he scored 34 goals.
That's like 1 in 1.1/1 point. That is crazy.
That's like you're having 2 a game. Every game, 2 shots a game. That's mad.
That is insane.
People, if you put it like that, though,
Well,
people
no
I think
point.
would expect you'd have more shots than that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, because especially if you're playing a very creative team as well.
Every time you shoot 2 shots, you're scoring a goal there.
Oh, yeah.
That's mad. That is insane. And the stats aren't like as crazy and out there as they are today. You know, like everything today is all based on it. But, you know, bringing it back, for example, we've spoken about Hojlund, but we saw that Chido Obi, he came on the 67th minute, which is which is earlier than usual. To see a player, right, come on at that age, 17 years old, by the way, he's in the first team where Man United are. Like, we're not saying he had a worldie, but how good was it to see a striker? You know,
just quickly for me, you know what it was for me?
Go on.
It was because Hojlund's been so off it, so bad recently. When you see this kid come on and do one little thing, you just like everyone got going, oh my god!
Yeah.
And for a kid that young, it was just refreshing to see. And you know, it's like
shooting.
Of course, what you see, what you got to put into context here as well. Yeah, was he 17?
Yeah.
Where's your fear? He ain't got no fear.
Hojlund's fearful now, isn't it, on the pitch?
That's what I'm saying. If I'm 17, yeah, and the manager brings me on 68 minutes or whatever, I'm turning around and saying to myself, I've got nothing to fear. I'll run into a couple of defenders. I'll try running behind, try be direct. And if you look at him, that's what he was.
Yeah.
I mean, when he got in and he come on his right foot, he tried to put it in the left-hand corner, and the keeper saves it. Yeah. If you reverse that, and you're in youth team football, the level he's playing at, I bet he doesn't even try and do that.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
I could show you enough goals he scored. He does exactly what he just said. This is what I'm saying. Number 9s think different to us.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
He wouldn't have done that.
True.
I mean, but he's in that position. I bet he's saying to himself, right, I've got to be precise and whatever. But when you raw, you're 17, you have no fear. I mean, I looked at him yesterday, and
What did you think?
he's definitely got a chance. He's got a chance. You know, my nephew worked with him, and I spoke to my nephew about him. And he said, "Unks, yeah, man, he's got a chance."
He's still rough around the edges. Like he's
You expect to be, yeah,
and he should be that.
Yeah.
But what I don't have any fear about is that he will get chances, because I watched him play against my two boys, and the guys, the way he played yesterday is exactly the same. He's not in the game. The ball falls, he's there.
Really quickly, I want to say for the young people watching, if you tell most of the young people that you've had a few appearances for Man United and you're 17, most young people in today's football think they've made it.
No.
But you two, multiple Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, you've just said he's got a chance. Do you know how mad that is? Despite of what he's earning, despite of everything, it's important for everybody to know, even if you've made appearances at United, you ain't made it yet.
Yeah, crazy. Look, I only made it when I retired.
Wow.
that was my thought process. You know, I mean, when I retired and you look back a little bit into him, I said, yo, I did all right.
Did all right.
You know what I'm saying? One of those.
5 Prems.
Yeah, I did all right. You could have been 7, but you know what I mean? I think ultimately you talk about the ones that you didn't win more than the ones you won. I'm saying, so yeah.
They're the ones when you're on the beach. You're kicking back, having an unbelievable day, and you put the drink down and you go, and then all of a sudden, we fucking lost that one, man. How did we lose that one? It just ruins the day. Like for that moment.
You talk about Barcelona a lot.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even thinking about that right now. So why are you talking?
Sorry,
about
my bad.
We've been there. You talk about Barca. I mean, I look at when we should have beat Dortmund. You know, we lost 1-0, and to this day it hurts due to the fact that we was more than capable of winning the Champions League that season. I mean, then we lose to Arsenal, and they come Old Trafford. They beat us 1-0. They're gonna run. There's many titles I'm sitting there saying to myself, yo, man's still vexed about now, you know.
That's ridiculous.
Just to go back to Chido, go on. What would be your advice for a 17-year-old kid like Chido, just signed for Man United, just getting some airtime, people are talking about him like us even here. What's your advice for a kid like that?
Head down, man. Head down, nose clean, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I always try and say that to the younger generation now, just keep your head down, keep working hard. I think it's tough for me because the way I viewed myself when I was younger, I'm totally different.
Ruben Amorim needs a radical Sir Alex Ferguson-style rebuild at Manchester United, but has been given a far weaker hand than recent managers at Old Trafford. Curiously, no team bar Manchester City has won more trophies in the last 9 years than Manchester United, even though it's widely accepted that standards at Old Trafford have declined alarmingly. Between them, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and Erik ten Hag won 4 domestic cups and a Europa League. For Tottenham, Newcastle or Everton, it would represent a golden period, but not for United, languishing in the most prestigious competitions since Sir Alex Ferguson left in 2013. Today's FA Cup 5th round tie against Fulham is a head-scratcher for 40-year-old Ruben Amorim, who by his own admission looks older every time he glances at the mirror. Lose and there will be another pile on, but paradoxically victory won't cause much celebration. Winning the Europa League with its entry into the Champions League is far more important, making Thursday's tie against Real Sociedad the priority. Historically, United's success has always been dependent on creating stars from the academy but also paying the biggest transfer fees for the best players. Sir Alex Ferguson broke the British transfer record several times on the likes of Roy Keane, Andy Cole and Rio Ferdinand. Mourinho's €89 million spend on Paul Pogba was a world record, and Solskjaer and Ten Hag were also able to pay big bucks. Manchester United's FA Cup tie against Fulham is a head-scratcher for Ruben Amorim. Lose and there will be another pile on, but paradoxically victory won't cause much celebration. United are still alive in the Cup, but their priority will be the Europa League instead. Yet Amorim doesn't have that luxury as he contemplates life in 14th position in the Premier League, 34 points behind leaders Liverpool. PSR restrictions and Ratcliffe's desire to cut costs means expensive new blood isn't an option without a fairy godmother first wanting to buy existing United players. The best homegrown players Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho may be sacrificed for financial governance rather than have a long career at Old Trafford like their predecessors. Amorim has a far weaker hand to rebuild United than Ferguson did from a similar low starting point. His immediate priority this summer is to try and exact some sort of cull to free up budget to bring in his players. Victor Lindelof, Johnny Evans, Tom Heaton and Christian Eriksen are out of contract, and Hell want Marcus Rashford, Antony, Jadon Sancho and Tyrell Malacia to finish loan spells strongly to create a market. Nearly everyone else at Old Trafford is available at the right price, headed by Rasmus Hojlund and Casemiro. The anticipated upheaval requires diplomatic tact from Amorim at a club already reeling over staff redundancies and rising ticket prices. The charming Portuguese declares honesty is the best policy as he seeks radical change. Amorim needs a Sir Alex Ferguson-style rebuild but has been dealt a far weaker hand. Everybody understands that in football sometimes you stay, sometimes you have to move on, he explains. I like to be clear. I was a player once and used that experience. When you are honest with someone, they can take it. It is hard in the beginning but they will understand. I'm quite honest with my players and sometimes they know they have to move on at the end of the season. It's not about acting ruthless just to show strength, but when I feel something is going to harm the club, I am quite ruthless. I'm trying to make a balance. I see a clear path and I see it from the board also. They are doing difficult changes which aren't popular, but they are doing it because they have a vision. I knew the situation here taking the job. It was a risk, but we are surviving and doing everything. Today is really hard, I know, but this is going to help us in the future. I hope. We will see. By taking England under-19s defender Aidan Heaven and striker Chido Obi Martin from the Arsenal Academy, United are reaffirming their commitment to youth. Ideally, Amorim would also like to sprinkle some stardust to get United closer to their competitors. Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen, currently on loan to Galatasaray from Napoli, has been talked about. So too has PSG defender Nuno Mendes, as Amorim stays wedded to playing with wingbacks. He is United's youngest manager for more than half a century and concedes there is an element of learning on the job. We aren't winning enough games, so I don't feel like I am a better coach, he acknowledges. But I have lived here for 3 months and learned certain things. I am a more complete manager because sometimes you need to be in a poor situation to grow. I have felt during these 3 months I am not going to die if I lose 3 games in a row. I've learned to cope and maintain the energy.